the national security risk.
And you know, I want to kind of double down on that point, because some of the folks here, and I know many of our viewers, like myself, were born and raised in Arizona. So we've been used to immigration issues our entire lives. We've seen a broken border. We've seen the federal government not manage this effectively. But what's different about now than from when we were growing up is the nature of who's coming into the country. It is radically different than it used to be. And as James was saying, the people who are coming from places all far-flung around the world, some of those people might be coming legitimately to seek asylum, but we know that some of these individuals are coming after already being engaged in cybersecurity breaches, in attacks on our country, or, as Senator Lankford just said, on the terror watch list. So it's a radically different kind of movement across the border than it was when you and I were growing up.
Arizona Republic.
Senator Sinema, can you give me your thoughts on the line of people, about 100 people right now, just outside of the Kyrsten Sinema port of entry? Were you able to see the line of people just waiting to be processed? Can you tell me what you think about that?
So this morning, Senator Lankford and I actually toured the Kyrsten port of entry, and we met with our Customs and Border Protection agents who are spending their time, including overtime, processing asylum applicants day in and day out. A couple things to note. This port of entry is using the new app, the CBP One app, which creates a more orderly process. That's helpful. It is safer for those migrants, and it's safer for our agents. However, it doesn't mean that the line of people has gotten smaller. So while we noted yesterday that the big scrum that came in right around the end of Title 42 is down to a lower number, the length of that list has not changed. There's still hundreds of thousands of folks in Mexico waiting to come in. And this makes sense from a cartel perspective, right? The criminal cartels want to bring in a manageable number of people every single day so that the border protection agents are busy all day long processing these applications. And again, just a number of hours and then days processing them and then releasing them into the country. But because they're spending all of their time doing that, no time is being spent looking for the bad guys out in the wilderness. So that's something that we saw with those lines today. We actually saw the agents who were spending every moment of their shift processing these individuals. As Senator Lankford mentioned, for most of these individuals, we don't know what their criminal background is. And so many of these folks are being released into the interior, and we don't know if these are good guys or bad guys. That's one of the challenges that we're facing, and it's something that we heard as a stress point for the agents that we talked with today.
All right, we're going to go with KLD.
Yes. You mentioned that a lot of the agents, they're spending time processing and helping them out as opposed to being out in the field. In your talks with them, are there any other concerns that they have raised apart from not being out in the field?
Yeah, let me tell you an example of what we heard today. So right now, you can claim asylum if you use the CBP One app and show up in line at the port of entry. You can also claim asylum if you just show up at the port of entry without an appointment. You can also claim asylum if you arrive at the border in the desert and then call for help. So when Border Patrol comes out to rescue you, you can claim asylum at that time. So here's what's happening. A group of 30 migrants will come to the border. They will call for help. When Border Patrol arrives, 15 of those individuals, maybe women, children, family units, will stay and ask for that help. And Border Patrol will then put them in the vehicles and take them back to the station for processing. The other 15 will scatter into the desert because they don't want to be detected. Now, who comes into the country that doesn't want to be detected? Folks with criminal records, folks who are smuggling drugs, folks who are here to do other illegal activities in the country. But right now, because they're coming in together, our Border Patrol agents have to, from a humanitarian level, go help the folks who are asking for help. At one spot of the border that we were at today, we saw a bottle partially filled on the ground and a tiny onesie made for an infant 6 months and younger. So we know that folks are bringing very tender-aged children to this area. Border Patrol is spending their time rescuing those individuals, and the bad guys are getting away.
No, it's a significant issue, and there's a lot of stresses for them. They're not only dealing with trying to get commerce going, pedestrians that are just coming back and forth to be able to shop and to be able to be here. We've got rail traffic that's coming through consistently, trying to be able to inspect that. We have southbound traffic that they were able to show us recently, firearms that were going southbound. They were able to interdict and to be able to stop those firearms. So they've got people that are coming through with I-94s, legitimate legal requests. They've got people that are coming into the process for asylum, CBP One app. They're trying to inspect traffic to go through. So the stressors around this area and the number of things they've got to be able to carry is significant, and the number of asylum pieces on top of it adds a significant amount of stress on top of everything else.
That's right. But it's the perfect recipe for cartels to exploit. While our agents in both blue and green are spending their time processing folks, the bad guys are getting through.